Welcome, wayward magicians. Welcome to our moon phases reading. I'm the magical medium. I am here to provide you spiritual guidance. You know, this channel just keeps evolving so much, and I love it because I'm a triple Sag. I love change. I love freedom and adventure and feeling alive and feeling good. So I have a few messages that Spirit wants me to talk to you about at the beginning for the collective, if you'd like to hang around. If not, if you just need to get down to your message, I understand that. We understand that. So please help yourself. Go down to the description box below and you will find the timestamps. Okay, so starting from left to right, we have pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3, and pile number 4. Before you are 4 feathers. Some of you may be familiar with the feathers. Some of you may not be familiar with the feathers. If you are familiar with the feathers, feel free to research that bird spirit animal if you're called to that pile. If you do not know the feathers, it's okay. It's not necessarily your medicine. I kind of feel like that's the vibe I'm getting from Spirit. Like if you know what feather that is from what bird it came from, then absolutely, you know what I mean, research it, you know your shit. You know what I mean? You know that that's the bird medicine talking to you because you're one of the wayward, you know, bird people. It's interesting. One of my favorite meditation, I don't know what I'd call her, magicians, meditation magicians, Crystal from the Psychic Soul. I referred her before. I just absolutely think she's just pure magic. Her voice feels like magic to me. Anyway, but she says way showers, and I've loved that so much. I just think it's so beautiful, and it really resonates with me. And lately I've been, you know, branding. I wouldn't normally call it branding, but Spirit said it's okay to call it branding because it's not a bad thing. It's not about the branding, the word, it's about the continuity. And so you will hear me say some things the same every reading, and you will hear me say some things different every reading, meaning the intro and the exit, because these are my words, my languaging that were brought to me from my guardians, my shamans, my spirit guides, etc. But I'm also evolving and changing all the time. I just created a new word, evolving and changing, evading all the time. We all are. If we embrace the flow of change, we all are, right? But what Spirit wants to talk to us about today, the birds came in. These, I'll put the Oracle deck below. It's called Bird Messages by Susie Green. And I really, really love this deck. I love birds. I have a strong connection with the bird community on multiple levels. They talk to me all the time. The ravens, mostly the corvids and the owls and the eagle. Actually, there's so many. They all talk to me. The hawks. So if you're a bird person, you may have been called to this reading specifically, you know, because you need the bird medicine, or maybe you need to come back to the birds. But also, this is the first quarter moon, and the first quarter moon is all about taking action. It's the 3rd phase in the moon cycle. And if you notice over here, where it's right here, so this is the first quarter moon. And I'm loving the way this is going. And if you notice, Spirit also had me break up into playlists. And a while back I said, do you want me to break this up? They're like, nope. And I love how they've been like kind of like inching it up piece by piece, bit by bit, for myself too, you know. Also, for some of you, I'm getting a real strong pain in my right hand finger. It almost feels like my finger is going numb. So if this is some of you, this message is for you. If you're having numbing in your body anywhere, there's a reason for that. I'm literally holding selenite right now. Like, so, right? Like selenite, you know, if you don't know selenite, please research it. If Spirit has me put some information below, I will. If not, research it on your own. But selenite is a really powerful crystal because it's literally cannot hold any dark energy, negative energy, whatever words you want to say. It's just all, it's cleansing, it's healing, it's cleaning. And yeah, it's really interesting, you guys. I've never had this pain in my finger before. That's why I know it's not mine. So, and it feels, just to let you know, it's in, I don't want to shadow, but it's in this section right here. Like all of a sudden I just started feeling this really intense energy. So if you're having something with your circulation or your fingers, Spirit's trying to talk to you. Like it's like almost uncomfortable for me. So if it's like, it almost feels like my finger's gonna like just like break open. And I'm hearing it's the salt. You have too much salt in your diet. You know, you may be retaining water. Don't take water pills, just drink water, healthy water, and cut down on the salt. And it could even be the salty foods, processed foods. So I also wanted to talk about this because it came up. Today is the 8th of February. Whenever you watch it, it's timeless, of course, but in real time, today is February 8th. And I have now officially had 7 full days of no dairy, no animal products whatsoever, and no sugar. And some of you know that's always been my thing. I've been harping on people for that for a really long time, but I went off the wagon really bad over the breakdown. I call it the breakdown, the lockdown. I love breakdowns because that's when we have our breakthroughs, right? So, by the way, the pain's going away. So that's obviously, yeah, that's a serious message for somebody. If you're having that kind of feeling, I'm hearing gout, like it could lead to gout. Be really careful. Like it's gone too far. Like for some of you, you know who you are, Spirit saying your diet has just gone too far. And I know for myself, like not only do I look, I swear to God, it's been a week and I'm like, damn, I look good. Like, and, and I'm not even saying that like I got all dialed up. Like, no, like just nothing. Like I just woke up this morning and I was like, washed my face and brushed my hair. And I just like, wow, I feel really healthy. I feel really good. And I was like looking at my skin and just how in 7 days, how more beautiful my skin looks, my hair is healthier. So, you know, even if it's organic, even if it's, you know, the purveyor or it's local or whatever, just remember that, you know, all animals, all beings, all living beings, right? In terms of animals, humans, edible food, right? Because even like our fruits and vegetables, they don't have feelings like an animal or a human would, but they definitely sense energy and they can repel energy. Plants are really powerful. Real raw foods are really powerful. But anyway, long story short, animals hold on to energy like humans do. So if an animal, even if it was like raised really well or whatever, it's like if it has like certain amounts of fear or, I mean, just anything, even if they felt fear when they were dying, you know, animals know when they're going to die. And if animals are being harvested and they don't want to be harvested and you're eating anything from them, you know, their milk, their meat, anything, it goes into your body. I pray over my food. I pray over everything that goes into my mouth. I thank it for its sacrifice. I thank, you know, and bless all of the people and all of the energies that brought it to my home. I thank the food and say thank you for nourishing my mind, body, and soul. You know, I do that with the water too. I thank the water. I talk to the water. We are made up of mostly water. The earth is made up of mostly water. And, you know, if you found your way to this reading, you're a real powerful magician. So I got excited because I'm like, are we going to start calling us the wayward magicians? Because after I heard the way showers from Crystal, I was like, oh, that's so pretty. And then today I kept hearing wayward and I'm like, carry on our wayward son, right? My supernatural, but of course that's not supernatural. That's Boston, but, I think it's Boston. Is it? Anyway, if it's not, put it below. But I always love that song, you know, carry on our way, you know, carry on, you know, your wayward son, right? Like carry on. And it's like, you wayward warriors, you wayward magicians. You guys are super special, you know? This isn't like, oh, I'm so special. It's like, I mean, yeah, I am special. We're all special, but I was told from the very beginning that this was my job. This is my job. This is what I'm meant to do. I'm meant to help and provide guidance. It's all, I'm just a channel, you know? And justa is just a form of languaging, because I've been correcting that lately, and Spirit's like, it's just words, you know. Yes, words are powerful, but at the same time, it's in the way we're using the words, right? Like you can say to a dog, come here, come here. You can be like, come here. You know what I mean? And they're like, ah. It's like completely different reactions, right? A dog responds, animals respond. So I just know, the other thing I'll say this, that not only have I noticed that I look and feel better, but the sugar, ooh, I didn't realize like how, I remember this from before, and this is why Spirit wanted us to do the 28-day challenge in February. If you're just seeing this for the first time, I spoke about this in the new moon reading. It was the new everything, because it was, you know, Chinese New Year and all that, Lunar New Year. But the energy that I was getting from Spirit is that it takes like at least 4 weeks for anything to take effect, whether it's a habit or for something to clear your system, you know, whatever. So I'm sure in like 3 more weeks, I'm going to feel even better, because I've just been inching in things. We really don't eat that much dairy or sugar regularly, but seriously, from the holidays, it was just like carried over. And then through January, I was just like, I can't. It was just like, I just didn't care, you know? But I think it's because I knew deep down I really, really had to let it go. I don't know if it's forever, but hopefully it's going to be for a long time, because I just know I just feel better. And it really needs to be like a once in a while thing, right? Like I go to a wedding and they have this amazing cake and there's sugar in it. Sure, I'll have a few bites if I feel like you know, it's meant for me. But you know, there's so many other quote unquote sugars in our fruits and our vegetables and our foods that we get that we don't need to we don't need added sugar. You know, I spoke about that in one of my recent shorts, where I was showing this dolmas from Trader Joe's, and I was so taken aback that there was sugar in there, because I was like, there's no reason why there should be sugar in there. I'm like, dolmas are so beautiful. They're such a simple food from the Mediterranean, you know, the Mediterranean. And maybe they do put sugar in it. I don't know, but like I don't know. So long story short, take better care of yourself. Keep your diet as clean as possible. Try it for at least 1 week and just look and just notice your skin. Notice how you feel. Notice your energy levels. Now, mind you, you may be cranky. I've been a cranky bitch. I'm not going to lie. I've been super, super short-tempered. Not proud of it. I've apologized to my partner so many times over the last week. And Baba, our cat, our familiar. I say she's my familiar, but I feel like she's both of ours. Baba, I also just posted a short of hers today, because she's just so fucking fierce and powerful, and we're having a huge struggle with her right now because Spirit did the same thing for her. Next week, she will be with me 10 years, and I found her on the street, and the vet said at the time it was hard to tell because she was a street cat. She was a Maine Coon. He's like, I don't know. He's like, she could be 1 year old. She could be 3. He's like, I'm not really sure. He's like, see how small her teeth are? He's like, that could happen, you know. But so we don't know. And Baba's teeth are still pretty small. And she's just magnificent. And I don't really know how old she is. And she doesn't really tell me, because she's like, it's not really important how old I am. But I said to her recently, because she's been so nasty, I'm like, if you're ready to go, I love you and I want you to be here forever. I'm like, but if you're miserable and you want out, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I'm like, I'll get a dog. I'll get another cat. I'm like, you can come back in another animal. I'm like, whatever you want to do. Like, I'm here to support you. But she's just been so nasty and miserable. And I'm just like, dude, you got to chill out, because she did have her healthy foods, but we spoiled her with certain treats that she liked that weren't super healthy for her. But she loved them, loved them, loved them. They weren't bad. They just weren't super healthy. And she's obviously older. If I've had her for 10 years, you know, it's like she's older. She needs to start taking better care of herself. She's on this food like boycott right now. She's intermittently fasting, and basically what that means is she's not eating, and then like her instincts, her baser, like fucking I'm an animal, I have to eat, will fucking eat. Like we've been getting her like kitty grass, like organic wheatgrass. She loves grass. When she used to go outside, she ate it all the time, and now she doesn't go outside anymore. Anyway, it's just been a struggle. So I realized, I'm like, man, it's like, I can only imagine what it's like for parents with kids when the kids like are on I'm not going to eat, because I'm only going to eat what I want. So it's kind of funny. Anyway, you know, just goes to show, right? Like, look at Baba. She's really miserable right now. Of course, I wouldn't want anything or anyone to eat her, but man, she probably wouldn't taste very good. She's kind of cranky. She's going through a detox, right? So let your body detox. Be cranky, work through it. But at the same time, it's the month of love. So work through that too. Do it with loving grace as much as possible. I mean, luckily my partner and I are so in sync that like when he sees it happening, he just like, he knows how to like respond now. And he either knows to like make it comical or he's just like, I'm just going to sit over here and shut the fuck up and let you go, you know? Anyway, we got to get it out, but it's not healthy to get it out on our people, which is what I realized. I'm like, we only fight when we eat like shit. Like we really fight. Also, we really eat like shit in the winter and we're stuck inside more, right? So all of these things are factors in our world and in our lives. And I feel like when the birds came in today and, you know, telling us to take action, what do we need to take action on? I realized I'm like, okay, step one, you know what I mean? Like we're in the 3rd phase of the moon. And I'm so glad I started this diet at the beginning of this month. I don't know if you guys did, but it's like, I feel like I'm right on track with it. You know what I mean? Cause now I'm like, okay, I'm still getting a little bit of headaches. I still have a little bit of, you know, like the withdrawal from the dairy and the sugar, but I can feel that I'm getting stronger, right? I can feel like, okay, I need to take care of this right now. What can I do right now to take action to build me to the next phase, which is coming around the corner, which will be the waxing gibbous, right? Which is the refine and focus. But for right now, we don't need to worry about refining and focus anything. Right now, we just need to go back to the beginning of this new moon in Aquarius and this new moon cycle. You know, Mercury has, you know, gone direct. We're still kind of in the little things of it. There's a lot of things going on in astrology. I'm still working on things myself. You know, we all have our people and our readers or, you know, those we look to. So I'm not going to say, oh, I know exactly what's going on astrologically. My jam is the moon phases. That is what Spirit called me to do, at least for now. So with that being said, we're in the 3rd moon phase. We're only in 25% of the moon, right? So if we're only at 25%, how are we going to take action? That's what these piles are here to tell you. Okay, so that's it. Those are all the channeled messages I have for you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for contributing to the channel. Oh, and I would love to say thank you to all of you who have contributed and subscribed. I'm in tremendous gratitude, you guys. Honestly, the contributions have been wonderful and lovely. And one little reminder, if you are going to contribute through PayPal, make sure to send it through friend gift. If you send it through a business or a service or anything like that, they take fees out on my end. So, you know, I am not a full-fledged business. Those of you know I walk the old way. I work on donations only in this capacity. So, and all of my capacity with working with Spirit anyway. And so I just wanted to say that Spirit wanted me to throw that out there. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful for anything that you give. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. And I am in gratitude for PayPal for the service. So with that being said, I will see you at your piles. Thank you so much for being here. I love you. All of my information is in the description box below, and I'll see you at your pile. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Welcome, pile number 1. If you chose pile number 1, you chose the peacock feather. Now, I feel like at the beginning they didn't want me to say what they were, but moving forward, if they pull me to, I'm going to say the feather. This one is so Captain Obvious. I mean, it's, you know, most people at this point know a peacock feather. So there's many things going on before I even show you your card. Like, I have the chills all over my body. But the one thing I want to say right out the gate is, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Florence and the Machine. If you are not, I highly recommend you become familiar with Florence and the Machine, because they're an amazing band. I believe I'm saying their name correctly. But I heard, I'm so heavy. Heavy, heavy, heavy in your arms. Like, they're having me do it even in like a lower voice, because she's like, I'm so heavy. I can't do it. Nobody can do her voice, right? She's Florence. But ooh, when I looked down, it was 1920s. So if you feel pulled to that number, there's many variations of that number that you can pull into different directions for numerology. But if you're looking for the angel number, it's 1920. But it's also the number 12, which could be the number 3. So, but yeah, and it's interesting, 1920, interesting, because I see the peacock feather, and the peacock feather in this situation, right when I said that, like almost instantly, ooh, I just got the chills too. Like, I'm like, I had to look around and be like, is there a window open? I'm like, oh. I felt this kind of, oh gosh, you guys, I'm feeling this like flapper 1920s, like, that's really interesting. And you know, peacock feathers were all the rage back then too. I really want to look at your card because I haven't looked either, but there's a lot coming through and I just want to talk to Spirit about it. Okay. Oh, look at that. It's this superb fairy wren. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at how gentle they're being. That beautiful fairy energy. And it says, infidelity is in the air. Ooh, that's interesting. Okay, so listen, I don't use this deck very often. And when it comes out, I'm always so surprised how brutal this deck is. I mean, it's like, you know, because you're like, oh, bird messengers. I mean, at least for me, I'm like, oh, the bird messengers. How lovely, you know. But this, I'm like, wow. Okay, so this makes sense. You know, I'm so heavy in your arms. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Yeah. I don't know where this, and did you notice how when they had me move things around, how the peacock feathers like kind of in the shadow now? Before it was like bright and looked very bright and opulent. Also, I had different lighting, and then the sun came out and I said, should I keep the lights on? And they said no. And I would rather it be kind of like light and bright, you know, but they're saying, no, it's like they almost want you to see it like this. It's so interesting how, do you see how the two birds are there together and the one bird is giving them, you know, it says this superb fairy wren. So I'm feeling, because this looks like a blue jay to me, and they told me I don't need to read from the book. So this must be this superb fairy wren, and it looks like the blue jay is trying to give them something. And what I feel like in this situation is you're taking action is you need to get out of this situation. Infidelity can mean a lot of different things. Obviously, it's the, you know, most obvious is a relationship infidelity, but this could be infidelity to self. Like, have you turned on yourself? You know, like, did you kind of walk away from your path? Have you diverted away from your path? Are you cheating on yourself? Right? Are you cheating on yourself with, you know, maybe a person or a community or people that you know you shouldn't be with? Like, everything in your gut is telling you that you should not be with this person. But you know why you're feeling that and why I got that about the 1920s? There's some past life connection here. And that's why I think this peacock feather wanted to come in. And they've done this to you before too. That's why it feels natural to keep allowing them to dictate your life and dictate your choices and all of that. But the peacock feather wanted me to turn it around because that's how the peacock feather actually looks. When the peacock is you know, walking, right, and the tail is down, that's what we see on the ground. What you saw when it's upright is when their feathers, you know, like when they go vroom, and they like go up in the air, right? So right now it's like this individual is keeping your feathers down, and you're fairy, like you're such a strong fairy energy. I'm going to put a little more light on this, just a little bit. I know it's a little blanched out, but it's also to show you, like, you would really benefit by working with the phases of the moon. There's a reason why the phases of the moon came to us, you guys. I mean, they would not be here. They wouldn't, if you've been here with us a long time, you know, yes, I've done readings for the moon, full moon, new moon, but the way that Spirit has been calling me to this is more than just me learning about the moon. So, you know what I mean? So I'm like, oh, hey, you guys, let's just pick a pile and pick a card readings for that. No, it's just, this is the spiritual guidance they're trying to show us that, you know, to everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And to every... I can never remember it. When I'm singing it, I sing it fine. But when I have to remember it like this, I never seem to remember it. I don't know why. Basically, there's a time and a purpose for everything. And, you know, maybe this person has outlived their, you know, welcome. And that's why you're feeling this. That's why there's two flames there. There's one underneath both of you. And, you know, you're probably right. They probably are a light worker. You know, you're thinking in your head, well, they're really powerful. They're, you know, they're special. It's like, yeah, they are special, but so are you. And Spirit's saying, why do they get to, why do they get all the best parts of you? Why don't you get all the best parts of you? That's what they're asking you. Why is it that it's okay to give them all the very best parts of you, but you're not, you know, giving them to yourself? So either someone is literally cheating on you, and if you've been wondering, this is your, ooh, I looked down, it was 2525, which is also 77, which is also 14, and goes to the number 5, which is change and transformation. Yeah, and 7s are about hardship. You know, it's time to move on, and you know it. And you know it, but you have to do it. You have to take the action now. Do it now in this moon cycle. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I've said this in some of the other readings, but all the blessed astrologers that I follow, a lot of them have said the same thing, which is that February and March, like from now until, you know, we've got eclipse season coming up too, you know, in May. We've got basically from now until summer solstice, winter solstice, depending on where you live, there's going to be some really powerful magical energy, but these are the months to plant the seeds in February and March. These are the times to plant the seeds so that, you know, and we really don't want to plant the seeds too further out in March because, you know, basically every year Spirit aligns us with these astrological events to give us, you know, more, you know, gasoline in our vehicles, so to speak, right? Inside of our minds and our bodies and our souls. They give us these times of year where that's what the astrologers do. They're like, I really wouldn't do it this time of year. That's why they're like, don't sign contracts during Mercury retrograde. Don't, you know, those kind of things. Some of them people believe are folklore and you can overcome that. I believe that that's true, but I do think that a lot of people run on the base system of the planet, and we are moved by the sun, the moon, and the stars. End of story. Like, it's part of it. Whatever this creation is, whatever this matrix is, wherever we are in this part of the galaxy and the universe, it's like, that's how it works here. So no matter where you come from or whatever, yes, there are some people who have the ability, have the energy to do that. I was just asked, invited, you know, by 2 of my blessed sisters to go on this beautiful magical adventure road trip. And, you know, I looked at the energy and the time frame and I was like, oh no, that's not going to work out. You know, I'm like, that's not, you know, that's not good for us. Maybe we can pick another time to go. And, you know, because I looked at it and I was like, yeah, I don't want to be traveling during a time change, you know, because even if you don't, you know, adhere to the time change, right? Like, even if your country or your state or wherever you live doesn't change their clocks, other states and countries do. And because they do, it creates a butterfly effect. It's like Mercury retrograde is the same thing, you know. If people are constantly going, oh, it's Mercury retrograde, it's like if people are talking about it, then they're creating this energy, and then the energy is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It's like when I used to go, I haven't done one in a long time, but I've cleared homes before. I've done exorcisms. I've done, you know, house clearings of, you know, spirits, ghosts, whatever you want to call them. They're different. It's all different energies that happen. And I've had people where I went to their house and I told them flat out, I'm like, I will do this for you, but you are the one that's creating the energy. It's not, it's like, I'm like, you're just a really powerful magician, but you're not recognizing and, you know, understanding your gifts and your powers. And so you're just, you know, you're creating entities and energies. And they were like, what? You know, and that's true. I mean, that's a whole other, you know, subject. That's for a whole other day. I used to teach that stuff, right, when I had Lula's Labyrinth and my Patreon channel. But I'm realizing now, like, it's so much about, like, what comes out of our minds, what comes out of our mouths, right? It's about what we tell ourselves. It's about what we feed our souls. And this sweet bird is, you know, I feel like it's interesting to me because I feel like in this situation, I saw this card one way, and now that I'm looking at it, I feel like this person, it keeps coming back to you. But you see how, like, they almost look like they have a mask on? Like this bird, they're not plain, right? But this one's got a lot of stuff. Let's go in a little bit. See what I mean? It's got a lot of stuff going on. You can see their features a little bit better, right? And I feel like this one, they bring you things. Maybe they take care of you. Maybe they pay the bills. Maybe you've gotten so used to being comfortable. But we can't let, I swear I was Italian in another life. We cannot allow other people's energies to navigate, or in this situation, migrate towards ours if they're not on the up and up. And it might not even be that they're cheating on you with a person. Maybe they're cheating on you with, you know, like we were talking about food. If you didn't watch the messages from Spirit at the beginning, I highly recommend you watch it. It was really good. It was a nice message for the collective. But, you know, what if somebody, you know, what if you're like, hey, I want to go vegan? They're like, yeah, I'll go vegan too. And you're like, cool, because I really don't want meat in the house. I don't want any animal products in the house. And they're like, yeah, me neither. But yet, like, when they're not with you, they're eating burgers. And they're eating them from, like, you know, fucking Burger King. Something really shitty like that. And they're putting that into their body, into their system. All that food does is it poisons us. It poisons our system. We spoke about this at the beginning of this, you know, from Spirit. Animals teach us so much, but also it's like, if it weren't for them, I'm going to go up to this first quarter moon energy. If it weren't for them, we would not be able to understand. You know, they put themselves here. Of course, you know, some people are meant to eat animals. Some people can eat animal products and it doesn't affect them. But if you're a powerful light worker, if you're a wayward magician, if you found yourself here, you cannot keep pretending like you're everybody else. And it doesn't matter how much people shower you with gifts or keep telling you, you know, whatever, maybe you like the way they make you feel, but it's ego-based or it's old pattern-based. It's something from a past life. You're a fucking peacock. If you chose the peacock, I mean, and if you're not familiar with peacock spirit medicine, that is your homework, is to look up peacock spirit medicine, because you are so, so, so powerful. You know, it's like, so what I was saying about the time change, you know, it's coming up in like a month, right? Like we're halfway through winter, halfway through summer, depending on which hemisphere you're in. And, you know, we're right smack dab in the middle of it. This is when we have our strength. You know, we're finally in that season. We've acclimated to that season. You know, I could tell you right now, when winter first started, I was a lot more of a, you know, a whiner about, oh, I'm cold, to now I'm like, you know, when it was 36 then I was like, I'm cold, right? Because I'm coming off of summer, fall energy. But now it's like smack dab in winter. I'm like walking around 36 degrees in a nightgown around my house with just a long sleeve t-shirt, right? But if I had done that, I live in a tiny home in the Pacific Northwest, so it's an old camper. So yeah, it's not insulated very well. But I've acclimated, right? We can all acclimate to anything, but we need time to acclimate. So when we have like the time change, which will be happening, we're going to have the time change. This is why I said no to that trip, because the whole entire trip was literally over the time change and the changing of the guard of fall to spring. And I was like, no, no, no. That is like the week I do nothing. And I kind of knew it when I saw the dates. I was like, I'd like to lie to myself, because I was like, oh, it sounds like a beautiful vacation. I want to go with my sisters. It'll be so fun. But I was like, nope, the timing's not aligning. And I was like, you may not want to do that either at that time. I'm like, you know, do as you please. But I'm like, I'm not going to, because I just know better. I've just learned my lessons in 50 years of being on the planet, that I don't fucking fight astrology. I don't fight energy. I don't fight, you know, I may fight City Hall, but I don't fight energy, because you cannot fight it. It is going in motion. It is flowing in motion. And the more we flow in the energy of our own field, our own energy field, and not the energy field of others, that is when we really find our mojo. That's when we find our flow. Oh, you guys, I am not surprised by this at all. I said, are we going to pull more than one card? And I got the vibe we were. Look at that. Look at that raven. Ravens are badass. That's what I'm saying. Look at, that was a blue jay in that picture, and then a raven. They're from the corvid family. They speak, they talk, they're incredibly intelligent. They speak to each other. They speak to us all the time. We have certain birds around us all the time, and they talk to us. Even my partner said the other day, he's like, oh, there's our raven. So this says, listen to your intuition to receive a message from the world of spirit or a friend. And I got from that, the last part, it was almost as if the other part didn't even exist. All I heard was, or a friend. You're going to have somebody is going to come, either somebody's going to come back into your life, or something's going to happen where, or it's going to be a new person who's going to be a new friend. You're going to meet them. I don't know how it's going to go down. They're not showing me that right now. But the energy I got from this, the magic I got from this is actually that you're concerned that you're not going to be able to do this on your own or take care of yourself. And Spirit saying, yes, you are, because this person is going to come in and they're going to be like, oh, dude, I have a place for you. Don't worry about it. I got you. They're like, don't even worry about it. I got you. So this happened to me years ago. I was going through a divorce and it was pretty rough. I really didn't want the divorce. I really wanted to make our marriage work. So hold on, let me get this in here for you guys. And long story short, a friend of mine reached out to me. A friend I used to work with reached out to me because she heard, I don't remember how she found out, but she found out from somebody that I was going through a divorce. And she reached out to me. And she was like, hey, she's like, oh my gosh, you know, I know we haven't talked in a long time, blah, blah, blah. She's like, but I heard, you know, that you and your husband broke up. And she's like, my husband and I broke up. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I didn't know about them either. And she said, I heard you're looking for a place. She said, would you like to come live with me? And I was like, I don't know. And I had been saving up for my own apartment and everything. And I was like, okay. I mean, the way it happened was so magical, and I knew it was meant to be. And not only was it perfect timing, but we were both going through such similar things. The only thing that was different for me and her was, oh my gosh, I will never forget this, because her husband, yep, left her for her best friend. It's like the worst, isn't it? It's like you lose, because when you're married, you hope anyway that your husband is your best friend, or your significant other, your wife, whoever it is, right? But to find out they're cheating is one thing, that your best friend lied to you, but to find out that your best friend and your best friend partner and your best friend, whew. So long story short, that was a lot of healing, and we drank a lot of wine, smoked a lot of weed and cigarettes, and cried. Rachel Yamagata was like our spirit animal at the time. It's a long story. I don't want to get into my own personal story, but anyway, lifesaver. We saved each other. We saved each other. And instead of, you know, it's like she was like the raven that came in, the magical creature. Not only that, but I was so blessed to have her in my life, because she unfortunately suffered a significant loss of her parents. So she inherited money, and I offered to give her money and rent, and she was like, please don't. Like, she's like, I don't need it. And she's like, I literally don't need it. And she's like, what I need is you and support system. She had a 4-year-old, and her 4-year-old and I ended up becoming really close, which was super cool for me, because I never had kids, and I got to like be like his little nanny, you know, when she wasn't home, and his friend, and it was super cool. And he taught me so much about littles, and you know, so you just never know. Keep yourself and your mind and your heart open. Allow the magic to come in, because that's what the raven is there for. And see how the raven's head is turned towards the peacock? They're reminding you, right? Let your, you know, I love to say, let your freak flag fly. Let your peacock flag fly, right? Peacocks are one of a kind. They're original. And yeah, they're, you know, they all may have this kind of look, but let's just look at this for a second. This came from nature. This effervescent color. It looks like an alien, right? And also, I never noticed this before. I don't know if I can do this, if you guys can see it. Hold on. Because I really want you to see this imagery. But I don't want to ruin the feather. Okay. Do you see how it looks like? It kind of looks like a lot of things. I want you to just look at it for a second. Maybe even take a screenshot. It reminded me of so many different things, so I don't think I'm going to say anything. But just look at the imagery. I just want you to look at the imagery of this whole, of the eye of the peacock feather, basically. Do you see it? Are you looking at it? This is how special you are. You're effervescent. You're effervescent. As I keep burning you and putting you in wax. Sorry about that. You're effervescent. And that's what Spirit wants you to remember. So let's see if there's any more cards. Ooh, okay. This may be a long one. Okay. Honey Guide. Oh. Oh, the honey badger. Ooh, okay. So badger spirit medicine, absolutely, positively. Again, I hope you're taking notes. If not, pause this and take notes. But look up badger spirit medicine, because badgers are all about like keeping at it, keeping at it, keeping at it, keeping at it, right? And maybe you need to leave a few times until you really, really say enough is enough. I'm done. I want to be happy. I want to live free. I want to be who I'm supposed to be. And you break yourself free from it. So this is the honey guide bird, which obviously, you hear honey badger. Okay, so this says, benefit from the harvest of knowledge and sustenance that cooperation brings. And, normally I would go into this, but Spirit just said, and we're going to leave it right there. I was like, what? I don't know. I'm like you guys. I'm like, wait, what do you mean? So I'm just going to leave you with a little bit of imagery of it. Again, take a screenshot if you need to and put the first quarter moon in there so you can benefit from the harvest of knowledge and sustenance that cooperation brings. And the raven says, listen to your intuition to receive a message from the world of spirit or a friend. So it could even just be, maybe you're just meant to move on your own, but you're not sure how or where or why or when or how it's going to happen. But do you notice? Oh, okay, this is the last thing they want me to say. Look at how on the right-hand side with the superb fairy wren, there's two birds. Look at to the left-hand side, the honey guide, there's a badger and a bird. And in the middle, there's a raven. It's like your magic stands alone. You don't need another person to complete you. Even if this is like your parent, your coworker, maybe you're just too dependent on somebody. Maybe this whole reading, maybe none of that was for you, but this message for you is that it's time for you. It's time for me to fly, right? Like the birds are just saying like, this is about you. This is your show. This is your work. And that's it. Those are your messages. I'm going to leave it there for you, beautiful pile one. Thank you, peacock energy. Thank you to all the birds that were here today. And the badger, thank you. We're in gratitude for all of the spirits that were here working with us today. And if you would like to contribute to this channel, all of my information is in the description box below. And I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Aho. Bye. Welcome, pile number 2. When I looked down, it was 4313. So that is your angel number, which I think it comes out to 11. You'll have to figure that out. Anyway, welcome, 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 welcome. Such a different energy from pile number 1. Very interesting. So I haven't seen your card. I'm excited to see it. I had some messages that came through on the first pile right away, but for you guys, I'm feeling like the card. And also, there's something about this card today, like the back side of the card. I've seen these cards so many times, but today is the first day I really noticed that it looks like, the sky in the background. I'm like, how have I never noticed that before? Isn't it funny how you can look at something so many times, but you just don't see it? So anyway, let's see what your card is. Oh, the lovebirds. Oh my gosh. Now this is like the complete opposite of pile number 1. So if you were conflicted between 1 and 2, then, and you're like, maybe this doesn't resonate, pile 1 may be your pile. So this is very, 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 very interesting. And like I said in the first pile, these cards don't mess around. They really don't. That's what I love about these bird cards. They don't mess around. So let me get you in here.
Let's get the lovebirds nice and cozy. I feel like the lovebirds want to be cozy. Cozy wozy. Hold on. We'll get you in there. What's this? Hold on.
You guys, they told me to pause it for a second, and when I looked down, it was 4444. So, if that means anything as well. So, the Lovebirds says, passionate declarations can lead to love. Oh, this is really powerful. Let me see what's coming through from Spirit. Passionate declaration. I mean, I'm really feeling this for you guys. I'm feeling something really, really positive for you guys. Like, oh man. How deep is your love? How deep is your love? I really need your love. I feel like they're like tickle tickle. Like, I just feel like this love is just like fun. This feels like a fun love. This feels actually, they're having me bring in both flames, because I'm feeling a lot of passion coming from this. But I'm going to take this out because I feel as if there's one for each of you. Like, right? Like, you each have your own little flame, but then you also each have your own little guide. I'm getting the vibe that whoever this person is, they are spiritual like you. In fact, I almost, I understand what's happening now. So this is a chicken feather. If you're drawn to this feather, this is a chicken feather. This is actually from one of the chickens on our farm. I believe it's from the leghorns, I believe, but I'm not 100% sure. But that's what it feels like to me, is the leghorn energy. So it could be, I call her Mrs. Foghorn. Sadly, we lost Foghorn Leghorn last summer, but he's with us in the stars, and he's with us in spirit. But I feel that, and I have to tell you that when I was picking out feathers today, these two, so I'm going to show you this one. These two were actually kind of stuck like this. And I didn't realize until later. I was like, oh, I didn't mean to, you know, pull that many. But I think it's interesting that now they're like 2 for T and T for 2. You for me and me for you. Yeah, I just feel this like this lovey-dovey. I feel this beautiful, beautiful love with you guys. I can't even explain it. Well, you could probably tell me, couldn't you? Because you're the one that's in this love bubble with them. So this is good. This is a good connection. You know, listen, Spirit says all relationships have struggles. Every single relationships have struggles. You know what I mean? Like, there's always going to be bumps in the road. But if you were questioning whether or not you should stay with your person, because this is like, I'm feeling like maybe you're just in a really, really rough spot with your partner, that you've been with a long time, or it could be that you're in a new love, because to me, either way, this just feels like a really new love energy. Oh, how cute. I just pulled another card, and it is the macaw, and it says, think laterally to solve a problem. Yeah, and have you ever, I mean, macaws are so playful. Now, would you want to get too close to their beak or mess with them? I would say not. They're really strong and powerful, but at the same time, they could be really funny. If you've never seen a macaw laugh, I highly suggest you go on YouTube and look for macaw laughing. They laugh, and they can laugh like a person. So whenever it's getting really heated, you know, this bird energy, you know, whenever it's like the bird brain, I swear I'm not even kidding you guys. I can't even explain it. It's the cutest. You should see the way that this macaw is talking to me. I'm like full on channeling the macaw energy, for real. And the actual macaw energy is so funny and so playful. I literally cannot stop laughing right now. And just so you know, for those of you who know I partake in cannabis, this reading, pile 2, like for you guys, like you just, you know, whatever, and you went right to it. But for me, I had to take a break after pile 1. And so longer than I anticipated. And then I was coming back and they're like, no, smoke some. And I was like, oh no, I'm fine. And they're like, no, you need to. And now I'm like, I love it, because this is what I'm feeling from you guys. Like this laughing, joyful, you know, being playful, smoke some weed, you know, eat some edibles, make yourself laugh. Like, I just feel like you guys just, maybe it's just getting too tense and serious in the relationship. You know, sometimes we need to just take a break. I asked the macaw why he wanted to be like this in the picture, and he goes, look, I'm on the branch. He is. I'm like, you're right, you are on the branch in the background. He's so funny. Okay, so, you know, it's just about being lighthearted, bringing laughter and joy into this situation. I almost feel like the macaw wants to be like your, you know, like your spirit animal for both of you, right? So that when shit starts to get too real, that you can just remember that the macaw's like, I got your back. Shit ain't too serious. Like, you don't have to, you know what I mean? Like, they're just saying it doesn't have to be so serious. And I feel like when you guys fight, it gets really serious. And maybe most of the time you're lovey-dovey and you're playful, but when it comes to fighting, it's just like the gloves are off. Been there. I've been going through that with my partner too. But, you know, then we have to remember, watch something funny. You know, look up funny, you know, comedy shows, get them from your library, or if you have streaming or whatever, like, you know, but watch things that make you laugh, and watch things that make you laugh together, you know, whether it's a movie, a TV show, a play, you know, a comedian, whatever it is. Maybe there's a comedian you both really love, you know, who's your guilty pleasure. Watch, if you can, try and download some old Lily Tomlin. And oh my gosh, and please, please, please get Robin Williams. I have my phone on shuffle, and I have like soundtrack. I mean, I have so many channels, I don't even know. But it's insane to me when something will play that I've never, ever heard before, but it's like older. And I'm like, how come I've never heard it? Like, why is it now just in the rotation? And why am I hearing it today? And recently, it was really heavy between my partner and I. And my phone was on shuffle. And then like we kind of went to our corners, and he was like sitting, you know, on the couch reading something, and I was doing the dishes. And all of a sudden, Robin Williams came on. Like a comedy, like an excerpt from like one of his comedy shows, is, you know, live stand-up. We were like crying, laughing. I'm like, oh, Robin Williams. But he was so fucking, he was talking about like technology today and people on their phones. If I can find it, I'll put it below. But honestly, I always say to people, look in the description box below, because there's always like little, you know, Easter eggs, as my birthday sister Taylor Swift would say. But it just lightened the moment. When I looked down, it was 51, which is also 6 and 6, right? And it's also number 12, which is number 3. And look, there's 3 birds there. So think of the macaw as like, think of your third person or the macaw as like spirit, looking out for both you guys and giving you those moments. Look for the laughter, look for the aha moments. You know, maybe you like to look at silly animals on YouTube. I'll tell you what, some of my favorite channels on YouTube are the animals. I can watch, I don't like watching people who make their animals do shit. That makes me I can't, you can hear, no. I make sure I don't watch them, but you know, there are some people you can tell like the animal is there to perform. Like they are literally there to, where people are like, oh my gosh, if you look at that, cat's really doing that. It's like, yeah, because it's not a cat, right? Like, I mean, it's a cat, but it's not just a cat. Like it's, you know, we all have spirit work. We're all here to work. We're all here to do, my bird brain. We're all here to do things together. Also, spirit saying, if you can, why don't you guys get an animal together? You know, maybe it's something that you guys can take the focus so much off your relationship, especially if it's a newer relationship. Like maybe like you're in like the 3rd year, like the honeymoon phase is kind of over and you're like going into, you know, where something was cute before and it's not cute now. I love that part in Overboard where he's like, it never bothered you before. She's like, well, it bothers me now, you know, because sometimes we can only put up with something for so long and then we burst. But, you know, maybe you could be like, I'm taking the dog for a walk. I need a breather. Or maybe you're like, you know, I'm going to go and talk to the fish for a minute, right? Even fish, a little beta fish, like, right? Like they have personality. They have, you know, you watch it swimming around. It's like they take that pressure off. So that could be for you guys too. Oh, and look at this. Oh, the Western bluebird. And this says, lend a helping hand and never forget that spring will return. Okay, so if you didn't watch the collective messages from Spirit at the beginning of this, I highly recommend you go back and watch it, because Spirit was just talking about this, right? Like we are halfway between winter and spring, or summer and fall, depending on which part of the hemisphere you live. But either way, it's about that, like right now my partner and I have been kind of like we're in that lazy, right? It's like it's beginning of February, you know, we've been kind of been lazy, and we live in the Pacific Northwest. It's cold, right? neither one of us really wants to do anything, but shit's got to get done. And both of us will like help out to a certain point, and then it'll usually get to this, right? At some point, one of us is going to be like, you know, right here, it looks like they're giving them food, right? Like they're giving them sustenance, but it can also look like they're bringing them something and the person's yelling. Like, we know they're not, but it could be them being like, hey, you know, I didn't ask for that. I told you to get blah, blah, blah. And they're like, but I went and got it. Spirit's saying, just be grateful, you know, that you have somebody to help you. You have someone to help, to lend a hand, right? To lend a helping hand. Don't forget that spring will return, right? I said that to him. I'm like, dude, we're just cabin fever. We're used to being outdoors. We're outdoorsy people. We spend a lot of time outside. And, you know, even though we live in a tiny home, you could live in a mansion. It's like sometimes energy is energy. You feel people's presence or their energy and you're just like, I just need a break, right? So, you know, then take that break when you need to take a break. And also, if you want someone to help more, you know, sit with spirit and meditate on the languaging that you can say to them. Because, you know, if you keep saying the same thing to somebody over and over and they're not listening, it's because they didn't hear you the first time, the second time, the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, because however you're saying it to them is affecting them, right? So I found that, right, you get more bees with honey than you do with vinegar. I found with my partner, I was going in a way that you know, that my mom had done. Like I learned, I didn't even realize how much I'd been doing this in my other relationships. Every relationship, we learn things, right, from each other. But I realized that one day I saw the way they changed, the way their face literally contorted by the way that I was talking to them, by my behavior towards them. And then all of a sudden I said, oh, that's the way, you know, your parent talked to you, isn't it? And they were like, yeah. And I said, you don't like that? They're like, no. And I just saw them shut down. Take a water break. I was going to pause and they said, no, they want you to take a water break. So take a minute, pause this, go get water if you don't have it. If you do have water, just take a swip. I was going to say swig and sip. Whoo! I'm telling you, I've got to, I think they call it bird brain because birds think really quickly, actually. They perceive information really quickly. I mean, this is all about taking action, right? Like, what do you need to take action on? So I would say with your pile, you know, it's interesting. We had this with the other pile too, which is really fucking interesting. That we started out with 2 birds, you know, there with the lovebirds. You know, then we went to 1 bird and then we went to 2 birds, except for this is a different meaning, but very, very interesting. So, you know, this is also, I feel like spirit, this is like a representation of spirit for us because they said, look at how the colors are very similar to the macaw, right? The western bluebird. Their colors are very, very similar. The only thing is the bluebird has white and macaw has yellow, but they're very, very similar in color. And they're saying like, you know, when spirit is trying to give you wisdom, or like maybe you're going to spar with them and spirit's like, I wouldn't say that. And you're like, fuck it, I'm going to say it anyway. They're like, that's ego, that's control, and that's not helping the situation. And if the person is doing that to you, if either this is for you and this is your medicine, or this is for spirit for you to understand that this person, this is where they're acting from. This is where they're coming from. Behavioral patterns from their parents, behavioral patterns from past relationships. So how can you guys come together to break that behavioral pattern together? Right? Yeah, this is really interesting. Because there's a lot of love here, and if this isn't a romantic love, then this is like a really close friend or a family member. Just because this is a representation of a mother bird feeding a baby bird, this could also be with a relationship, you know, with a parent that you're having. You know, maybe you're living back at home. You know, I had to move back home. I didn't have to, but I went back to college when I was 37, and my mom, you know, talked me into coming back home, and I did it for a year, and it was too much. I mean, only half the year I was, well, actually, I don't even know how long it was, but it doesn't matter. But I'm just saying, like, I did it, and it wasn't the most comfortable thing I ever did, but at the same time, I have such good memories of it, and so many cool moments that I got to live with my mom and my stepdad, who I called dad too, like T-O-O also, because he was, you know, he was my stepdad, but he was more of my father than my real father. But anyway, you know, it's like, maybe it's for you guys. Maybe they're having me share this relationship with you. This could be a father and a son too. Like, ooh, you're the first pile that we pulled more than 3 cards. So look at this. I was just kind of fussing around. I wasn't sure if we were going to pull cards. Wow, look at this. Bald eagle. I'm going to bring this even closer. I don't know why it's having a hard time. There we go. From a strong foundation, you may build anything. Yes. So talk about, you know, in spirit medicine, definitely native spirit medicine, the eagle is spirit, is a representation of spirit. So here we are again. We've got the macaw and we've got the eagle, right? And they're both coming to you from the top, right? From the top down, they're telling you, spirit's telling you, you know, don't allow the ego and the control to come in. When you're starting to feel, you know, because like I said, and I'm feeling this is like multiple relationships. And it's interesting because one was, I don't know what the rest of the piles are going to be like. I never know. I just say to spirit, like, what do we need to take action on? But, you know, it would make sense that it's relationships, at least, you know, so far, like I said, 1 and 2, because we are in the month of love. And I feel like whether we want to or not, it has become more of like where people focus more on love in general, not just relationships, but excuse me, not just romantic relationships, but, you know, now we have Galentine's Day, you know, where it's like celebrating your girlfriends so people don't feel alone, right? No one wants to feel lonely. Now we have another holiday where they're pushing for something, but other people, they may not. Like it's Christmas and people are like, oh, I love Christmas. Well, not everybody loves Christmas. They don't have the same reaction to Christmas that you do, right? I've had that in my relationships where I've actually transformed, you know, I've converted a lot of non-Christmas people to Christmas people. By the way, holy crap, I was wondering if it was going to come in. I'm like, holy crap, my Midwestern Chicago is coming out. The barn owl was at the bottom of the deck. And it says, love approaches unexpectedly. So this could mean that either love is coming your way, like maybe you are single and that's why that was like a nice little segue, you know. If you are single, you won't be for long. Love is coming your way. And like I spoke about in the other pile and at the beginning of this too, right? Love is love. And loving ourselves is the most important thing of all, is self-love. Nothing else matters, really. If we don't love, you know, RuPaul, if you don't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love anybody else? And that, my friends, is the truth. Those are your messages, pile 2. Wow, look at you, you powerful warriors, you wayward warriors, you wayward magicians. Don't forget your magic. Look at all these birds supporting you. And if you're so inclined, research all of these birds because they're talking to you for a reason. I asked Spirit, the book is really cool. I love the book, but they specifically told me not to read from the book today. So with that being said, you know, this is your job to look it up. You know, you can see the macaw. We've got the eagle in the background, the lovebirds in the middle, the barn owl to the right, and the western bluebird to the left. Okay, you guys, thank you so much. And also, I just wanted to say, if you didn't watch the beginning, thank you so much for your contributions, you guys. It really helps a lot. And just a little gentle reminder, Spirit had me remind you that if you do want to contribute through my PayPal link, please choose the friend and gift. I am not a business. I am not an incorporation. I do all of my spirit work on donation. So, just putting that out there. If you go to there and it says, you know, do you want services or whatever? No, you want friend and gifts, because that's exactly what it is. You're gifting me with a beautiful energy exchange. All my information is in the description box below, and I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Welcome, pile number 3. Your angel number is 1323. I'm whispering to you because as I was setting up your little altar here, your little energy field, I heard as if I was listening to monks singing this song in a really old cathedral that echoes back. O come, Emmanuel. That's what that is. Wow. You guys, what? The what? The what? Who are you, pile 3? Wow. Okay, so this is the feather that you chose. Now, I do not know what feather this is from. And Spirit, if you know, keep it to yourself, because for some reason, it's not supposed to mean anything unless you know. I was like, is it crow? Is it raven? They wouldn't, literally, it didn't matter what I said. I got no response. So, but you chose it. It's magical. Look at the way it's dancing in the flames. I tried to bring more light in. They said no. So you guys are very, very old. I collect feathers from everywhere. I live in the Pacific Northwest. It could be anywhere from Mount Rainier to the Olympic Mountains to the West Coast to the Puget Sound, the Hood Canal. I mean, seriously. I travel so much. But you guys have really, really old medicine that felt so almost like meditative. And I feel like I don't know where it's like it wants to. Do you see? Oh my gosh. It has a mind of its own. I feel like it just wanted to be like dropped. And I'm like, I am dropping you right now. Okay. So let's see what your card says. Ooh. You are the cactus wren. Ooh, and let me tell you, I love the book, but they would not let me bring the book in today. So this is really about, you know, oh, look at the nest right there. You know, these are pure channeled messages. It's also for you, for the imagery for you. Because if you chose this reading today, you are a wayward magician. I mean, I've just been feeling this really strong, really strong pull to this reading, more than I think any pick-a-pile I've ever done. I just felt like magicians. So I don't know if it's just like our channel is like evolving and changing and growing, like the subscribers, like us as a tribe, or, you know, a community, whatever word feels good to you, or if it's, you know, literally like just this reading. I don't know. It's just, there's just so much magic coming through. It's unbelievable. And since this is all about taking action, it says, turn enmity to your advantage. So whatever that message is for you guys. Also, they're showing me how the bird, do you notice how the bird is alone? There's nothing in the nest. There's no eggs. And I literally heard like no fertilization, because if you're taking action on unfertile ground, nothing's going to grow. So turning enmity to your advantage. Wow. This is really powerful. I feel like I need to look at this a little longer and pull some cards, but I want to look at it. Well, oh, you guys. Oh my gosh. I would pick up the camera, but I never know what you're, let me see if you can see it. Hold on. Do you see the bird right there? You see it? Hold on. Oh. Hold on. Sorry. Do you see him? Hello, friend. Hello. How are you? Oh. Maybe you guys need to get out into nature. Are you, you know, I don't know who watches my channel, because you know, those who know me know, like, I've known celebrities, worked with celebrities. I lived in LA for 10 years, like 20 years ago. So I don't get starstruck very often, unless, you know, it was like Cher. And even then I would probably just like hug her and be like, Sister Witch, or Stevie Nicks or something. But I feel like whoever is watching this, you either are really, 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 really famous, or you are going to be very, 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 very famous. And see how this bird is like kind of hanging out incognito? Because now you know where he is, right? Or she, whoever they are. Now you know where they are, right? So your eyes will go there. But you weren't really looking there before, were you? Right? Because they're just hiding in there. So it could even be for some of you, like, if you're not like quote unquote famous, maybe you're like really famous on social media, or you're, you know, into, maybe you have an account where you're a singer or a performer on YouTube, or like, you know, some other type of outlet like that, because anonymity can mean because anonymity, oh, that's interesting. Oh my gosh. So Spirit's like, that's right. I was saying anonymity. So anonymity, we need to look that up. That's your homework too, to look it up. I'm like, why can't I just look in the book? Hold on. So my Scorpio moon wanted to take control of the reading. They're like, what did we say? They're like, no, don't get, because I'm like, I'm going to get the book. They're like, don't get the book. Okay. So we're going to pull some cards. So that's our homework, is to look up anonymity. E-N-M-I-T-Y. And if you want to take a screenshot of the card, you may even know, you can say below what it means if you want to. Turn anonymity to your advantage. Well, what do we think it means by looking at the picture? And maybe that's the whole point. Maybe it's not about the word. Maybe it's like blank, right? Because I'd like to consider myself pretty well read, but it's like, I don't really know exactly what anonymity means right now, but I was going with inanimate. You know what I'm talking about, where it's like, right, where you're kind of invisible and you blend in. And it could be maybe for some of you guys that you're not supposed to blend in. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's like Spirit telling you, you know, it's time for you to stick out. Because, I mean, look at them. They're sticking out of the whole picture. Maybe they're like, hey, look at me. Come be with me. The last two, if you're drawn to piles 1 or 2 and you had any relationship, you're looking for any relationship guidance, that's what those are about. So maybe that's what this is. Let's see what the next card says. Oh, snap. The Phoenix. Creative change realizes your dreams. The Phoenix. Wow, I've been seeing a lot of Egyptian, or I've been drawn to a lot of Egyptian energy lately. The Phoenix. So let's look at that for a second. They wanted me to put it there. Now I know why. Look at the fire on the Phoenix. I'm still not feeling it, you guys. What's going on? I feel like yours is your reading's so different that I'm kind of excited because it feels like they're telling us a story. Okay, the Pheasant. Adapt to place and circumstance to discover happiness and contentment. The Pheasant. I mean, this is so interesting to me. Because we've got the cactus wren is in the middle. We've got the pheasant to the right and the phoenix to the left. And we're talking about taking action. This is the first quarter moon phase energy that we're working with on this reading today. So let's see this. Wow. It's like, And the interesting thing is like they're so different. You know what I mean? And it's interesting to me because I feel like this is beyond the birds. And if you look at it, look at how different their environments are. Like absolutely positively, like so different. I'm going to pull in just a little bit. I mean, the phoenix is like rising out of the fire, out of the heat, out of the flame. And then it's almost like the phoenix like came out of the flames and went into the desert, right? Because that's where the cactus grows. But in the background, there's mountains and it, looks like, fog. But maybe up in the mountains is this little village, right? Like, work with me here, right? It's almost like you're a phoenix rising out of the ashes into, the desert, and then you're going to land like in the snow. So I feel like this could be a very specific message for one of you, or this could just be, because right now, if we look to the left, the phoenix rising out of the ashes, we could say that maybe, that's summer, right? Because summer's hot. So in the southern hemisphere, right now, it's summer. But in the northern hemisphere, it's winter. So on the right, it would be winter. And it's like, and there they are smack dab in the middle. And it could even be that maybe you were someone who, you know, maybe you grew up in this, in like really hot, like in the summer in the desert. You like the desert, but you don't really like it like all year round. You're like, maybe, you know, blah, blah, but I don't really want to be here in the summer, right? And then like, they're like, well then, you know, go away to the winter, because there are some places where even when it's summertime, if you go up high enough to the mountains, it's pretty chilly, you know, and you still can find snow on certain mountain peaks in certain places in the world, right? I remember years ago when I moved to Los Angeles, I thought, wow, this is like the most perfect place you could possibly live, because I was like, it's warm down here. It feels like summer, but like when I wanted to feel like winter, I could easily just go up to Big Bear. And it was like such a cool, I mean, I don't know if Los Angeles is where you're meant to be, but I'm just using my own story as in, you know, so maybe you're somebody that wants to live in Colorado, but you know, you like to live up in the mountains, but you want to be, you know, somewhere warm. So you know, you go and live like further, you know, south or whatever it is. I don't know. I'm just like throwing that out there. That's the only thing I got from that. And also it's very different from the other piles, because this is the only pile so far where all of the birds are solo. And it's interesting because if you look over here, the phoenix is rising out of the ashes with their head held high, looking upwards to the sky to spirit, like, okay, I know you got my back. Like they're feeling the flame and the fire of spirit within them. They're like, I know you got my back. And then, you know, they land in the desert. It's a little prickly, right? I mean, that cactus doesn't look comfortable. And look at how careful that bird has to sit on there, right? Their bodies are tender, right? That would hurt if you landed on that in the wrong way, but they know exactly how to land. And also look at where their nest is. They have their nest hidden, just like in when I showed you that bird earlier, right? Like there's a reason why that came in for you. You know, this has come up a lot lately, but you know, keep it secret, keep it safe, you know, like Gandalf says. And see that? Look at see how the flames are surrounding your nest, like they got you covered. It's your phoenix is always going to have your back. You know where to land. Land softly, right? But look at how the cactus wren's body is facing the phoenix, but their head is facing the pheasant. So look up all three of these birds for their spirit medicine. Like I said, I really wanted to read from the book because I love this book, and they were like, no. So that means in this taking action, it's, you know, all the messages, there's so many messages or so many people, and you know, it's like, if you've never read my about section, please go read it, because there's a message from spirit in there for all of us. Just a little reminder, you know, that just because something like, don't look for something that's not there, basically, you know. And if it's not resonating with you at all, then it may not be your pile either. You may have just really loved the feather, and that's okay. Or it could be that this is your medicine, but maybe a year from now or a month from now. You know, it's different. But I'm just feeling like if this is a relationship reading, I don't know, so far the 1 and 2 were, 4 has yet to happen. But so far, if anything, I feel like this relationship is with yourself. And so if you're meant to take action, it's meant to go solo. And the fact that even though these birds stick out, they still kind of almost camouflage themselves. Look at the phoenix. The phoenix blends into the sphinx. But the cactus wren sticks out. You know, but it's white and it's black, right? It's like almost like it doesn't have a lot of color, right? Doesn't have that red around its eyes like the pheasant does, right? So it's blending in. It knows how to blend in and camouflage in the desert. But the pheasant is what's really got my eye, is that, you know, we've got this one bursting out. We have this one with the body this way, but the head that way. And then over here, they're like, I'm walking. Every day I'm talking, right? They're like, look at me. I got it together. So, you know, if you are wondering if things are going to come together, whatever your story is, whatever your situation is, they're saying yes. And, you know, when I looked down, it was 1/18/44, which is, you know, it's an hour, whatever, but 1/18/44, if you want to write those numbers down, whether that is an angel number or you're meant to put them all together, there's some numerology for you there as well. I'm not meant to say any more from that, but it's saying adapt to a place and circumstance to discover happiness and contentment. So exactly, you know, Maybe you're exactly where you're supposed to be right now, but it's not the right people or the right house. Or maybe you're miserable at your job. You know, are you a runner? Are you somebody that just keeps running, running, running? And Spirit's like, wait, why don't you take a minute and just like kind of like hang out where you are and see, you know what I mean? Like see what's there. Like, see, they got that little flame under your ass, under the pheasant, because they're like, you got shit to do, man. You got shit to do. So I think, and I almost feel like this is the first time I felt this, is it almost feels like a past, a present, and a future. So maybe this is where you are right now, and this is where you're going to end up. Like, you know, maybe you realize like after you've been in the heat and in the desert, or maybe you've been in a warm climate for a long time. It could be Miami. It doesn't matter. It could be the Mediterranean, you know, but maybe you're like, oh, you know what? I do kind of miss having all seasons. I love winter. I love the way, you know, the chimney, the woods burning and the chimney smells outside when I go for a walk, and the crisp snow and the, you know, and I could see my breath on the air. Some people, I know I enjoy that. I grew up on the south side of Chicago, and then I moved to Los Angeles when I was 23, and I lived there for almost a decade. And I just remember, like, I don't know what year it was. Maybe it was year 7. Ooh, my throat chakra. So speak your truth too. You know, if you're not happy, you got to speak up for yourself. But I just realized that I was like, I didn't want summer anymore. I was like, I need seasons again. I just started to feel crazy. As much as I loved it for many years because I grew up and I hated winter, and I was like, if I never see snow again, it'll be too soon. But then after I didn't have snow for a long time, and even though I'd go home to visit, it was like, wasn't enough, you know? You know, it could be that too. Like maybe you're ready to migrate, as birds do, to a different climate. And you'll know when it's time, you know, but maybe where you are right now, the fact for some of you, this message is you're meant to adapt to where you are. And turn anonymity to your advantage. Creative change realizes your dreams. And that's the phoenix. I feel like the phoenix in this situation, you guys, is your artist also, like rising. And they're saying, focus, focus, focus. Focus on your art. Focus on what makes you happy, right? Because you see how the flame's kind of going higher now. It's almost like they're trying to show like how the flame's like going into their, you know, like their heart chakra, right? And let the flame go higher and higher and higher, right? Till it's at the crown chakra. Look at that. And I feel like wherever you are right now, you'll eventually get to where you need to be. But right now, I feel like, you know, if you need to work with some past energies, that's fine. Just don't live there forever. You know, use it when you're working with your past energy. Talk to your higher self. Use your crown chakra in that instance. But in terms of where you are, just stay put for a minute. Just stay put, because I'm telling you, what is coming for you will come. And in one respect, they're saying, yeah, of course, it doesn't matter where you live. Like maybe you're somebody who is kind of living on the road or whatever, but maybe it's time for you to, ooh, listen to that. The mail truck just went by. It was like a van, right? So they're saying maybe it is time for you to flee one situation into another. There's a lot of people that are watching this pile. I'm getting so many, you guys, there are so many spirit guides here right now, honestly. So please take what you need, leave behind what you don't, that old saying, because it's so true. You know, if it resonates, it resonates. Take the parts that do. Leave the rest. All right, you guys, thank you so much. And I just want to say, I want a little shout out. I forgot to say this on pile 1, and I said it at the reading at the beginning, but just in case you didn't watch the reading at the beginning, I want to say thank you so much to all of you who've been contributing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is a tremendous blessing. As most of you know, I work solely on donations and all of my spirit work, so I am in gratitude for all that you can contribute. All of my information is in the description box below, and I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Aho. Welcome, pile number 4. Kumbaya, my Lord. Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my Lord. Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my Lord. Kumbaya. Oh, Lord. Kumbaya. It's interesting. Almost every pile had some type of music. Welcome. So, and it's cool because they each had a different energy too. It wasn't just about the song. So Oh, welcome pile number 4. I love you guys so much. I love everyone, of course, but if you chose this pile number 4, you chose this feather. This is a rooster feather. I highly recommend you look up rooster spirit medicine, rooster spirit animal. This particular feather came from a very dear friend of mine who lost his life last year battling a little 2 coyotes trying to get his hens. And he fought bravely. Foghorn Leghorn, he fought bravely, and he lost his life. Oh, I don't want to start crying. I don't want to make you guys cry. That's what I feel like. You guys are like empaths, but that's okay. You can cry. You can cry if you want to, but you know what? He's okay. He's okay. I know he's okay. I mean, it took me a while to get over it because he was my friend, but Spirit wants me to say, like, I feel like for some of you, maybe you just had a loss, a family member. It could have been a furry family member. It could be a human loved one. So let me see if anything wants to cross over and speak. Oh, they're saying not at this time. Okay, so your bird spirit guide is the painted stork. Oh, look, it's got 2 babies. Oh my goodness. Yeah, did somebody lose their baby? Did somebody lose a human baby? Oh my gosh, you guys. I have lost a child. I know how that feels. You know, any type of, I don't care how you had, I'm Spirit saying, I'm trying to translate. They're saying it doesn't matter how you were, I don't know how they're saying it. It's like a language I'm not understanding. They're saying impregnated, but I know what they're trying to say is that if you were pregnant, you were pregnant. If you had an abortion, a miscarriage, if you had the child and it was stillborn, if you had the child and it died, and I'm not saying it cavalierly, okay? I'm just speaking through it quickly because it's hard for me to talk about too. I lost a child, Star, my daughter, and I still, it's like a suffering loss that you can't explain or put your fingers on, or there's no words to comprehend. And if you lost a furry baby or a bird, any animal, I don't care if you lost a plant and it was like a child to you, you know, it's like, you know, some people might not understand that and say, what are you talking about? You can't compare a baby and a plant, but, you know, it's different for everybody. So I'm going to put this beautiful stork leaning up against our sweet foghorn rooster spirit medicine. And it says, parenthood and caring for family brings much joy. So if none of that resonated with you, with the loss part of it, then I'm hearing that if you have lost your spark or you have lost your verve for life, play with your kids more if you have children. If not, this is when, you know, this is a great time to become maybe a stronger role model in someone's life in terms of like an auntie or an uncle. If you have friends or family that have children and you're just feeling really blue, say, hey, can I come over and like play with your kids? I need some, I'm feeling this energy that I only want to have 3 candles there in front. There's just I just felt such a gentleness with this pile, a gentleness I really couldn't explain. And even now, I just feel, you know, these are mass readings. There's only 4 piles, right? And this is about taking action, right? This is on the first quarter moon. We are working with the first quarter moon energy. And the first quarter moon is, okay, where do I need to take action? So it says, parenthood and caring for family brings much joy. So it looks like, you know, taking care of the family. Wow. Okay, so this came up in one of the other piles. I'm not going to say which one. If you're drawn to another pile, I highly recommend you go and watch it. Oop. Let's go down a little bit. Look at the lovebirds. Hello, lovebirds. And it says, passionate declarations can lead to love. Okay. So, are we like wanting to have a child? Are we wanting to have a family? You know, 3. Like, because I went to move that over and they said no, like the 3 flames. There's something, yeah, and see even here, like I see 3 here and then 2 here. So it's like, you know, 2 together makes a 3rd, right? But over here, it's like I'm seeing, it could even be that you're a single parent, you know, you're a single parent with 2 children. Or it could even be that you're, you know, a single parent and you have one child and an animal. Maybe the dog, you know, or cat or whatever it is, feels like your second child. It could even be, you guys, that you are not a single parent, but you feel like you are the parent to everybody. Like maybe your partner is not coming through the way you would like them to. So this is very interesting. This may end up in the relationships playlist as well, because I feel like now that we've had 4 piles, each pile has been a representation of relationships, and that doesn't surprise me because, you know, we are in February. Whenever you see this, it's timeless, but we are in the first quarter moon of Aquarius, and we are in February, the month of love, and in real time today it's February 8th, and we're a week out from Valentine's Day. You know, so let's see if there are any more messages. Okay, this one I barely even did. Oh my gosh, you know what? I'm going to put this out there, but I'm also going to grab another one because this was also from another pile. If you, again, if you're drawn to any other piles, then you're meant to see this as well. So it says, hold on, I'm losing my light here. Western bluebird, lend a helping hand and never forget that spring will return. Yeah, I mean, especially, you know, if you're, because I feel like this wants to move over here. Because I'm feeling a lot of love and loss. I'm hearing the words love and loss. Like literally, I keep hearing that over and over and over and over and over. Love and loss. So there's something here. If that resonates, feel free to comment below if you want to share your story. We love that. We love to hear people's stories and their experiences if you want to share. And now I kind of feel like we're breaking this up a little bit too. Because here we are again, where it looks like a single parent with a child. I want to look at this for a minute and see what else comes through. So passionate declarations can lead to love. Parenthood and caring for family brings much joy. Lend a helping hand and never forget that spring will return. So we were talking about this. If you didn't watch the beginning messages from Spirit for the collective, you know, if you feel so inclined, I highly recommend you go and do so. But, you know, Spirit brought us a reminder that, you know, we're halfway through winter in the Northern Hemisphere and halfway through summer in the Southern Hemisphere. And so, you know, I know for some of us who've been in the Northern Hemisphere, you know, we're halfway through winter. And we've got 6 more weeks before it's spring. Or actually, is it 6 weeks now? Maybe 5. You know, because February is a shorter month. So the taking action for you guys, I feel like is, what did you say? Oh my gosh, they just like had me pull another card. Oh, I don't know if I've ever seen these birds. Look how pretty they are. Hold on. Aw, look at them. I love these birds. They're so cute. Here, let me bring this over. Where's my other one? Here. Let's put a little light on the subject. Aw, look at these birds. They're so cute. Might be better down here. Yeah, look at that. Look at the colors. So it says, the resplendent Quetzal, uncover the deity within. You know, yours is similar to 3, where I feel like we're telling a story. So let's tell the story then. And I'm going to do what I did. I did a one-on-one personal reading yesterday, and sometimes Spirit will have me pull the cards together. So they're having me pull one more. So here's the new one, the Masked Weaver, and it says, discerning and practical choices bring security in life and love. And this is the bird. Okay, so let's see how Spirit, what order they want us to go in. Okay, so we're telling a story this way. So lovebirds back there. Because sometimes when you move the cards around, you see the story in a different way. So it's the same thing with these cards. Okay. Hold on. Ah, finally, some light on the subject. So I want you to use your intuition to look at these cards. I said the same thing because you guys, you know, there's a reason why at the beginning of this, Spirit said that, you know, you are the wayward magicians. What do you see? And I'll read the cards to you again while you're looking at the imagery. I'm going to read them from left to right, from the Masked Weaver. Discerning and practical choices bring security in life and love. Then the Lovebird says, passionate declarations can lead to love. Lend a helping hand and never forget that spirit will return. Freudian slip. Lend a helping hand and never forget that spring will return, right? Meaning like, even if you're in the rough of winter and you're having a rough time, it's like spring's going to come no matter what. It's going to come. Just like summer's going to come after that, and fall will come after that, and winter will come again. It's going to keep going because that's the cycles of life. Then the next one says, parenthood and caring for family brings much joy. Uncover the deity within. It could even be like, I mean, take from it whatever you need, right? But I also feel like for some of you, it's saying at the beginning, it says discerning and practical choices bring security in life and love. Meaning like if you, maybe if you chose this pile, this particular message, you're single, or maybe you are in a relationship, but you're not happy and you just know they're not the right person. Maybe you've gotten too comfortable and you're like, maybe you're not discerning and making practical choices. Maybe you're making the easy choices. Maybe you're, you know, because if we start with the Masked Weaver, look what he's got in his mouth, right? He's building his nest. So they're saying discerning and practical choices bring security in life and love. And practical doesn't mean like, oh, you know, like I married my first husband. I'm only married twice, but my first husband, I married him because he was exactly that. He was safe. He was practical. Everyone loved him. He was smart. He was intelligent. He had two law degrees. And I was like, okay, you know, speaks multiple languages. I'm like, I hit the fucking jackpot. He has a British accent. You know, I was like, boom, he checked all the boxes, you know, for my family, for my friends, for, you know, because I was getting so much pressure to get married. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, slow down. I was like 23 years old, but I wasn't at that time, you know, in 1995. And I was like, you know, so I needed to go make my own way. I needed to be my own wayward magician and go and make my own path. But you know what? I went the practical route. And it wasn't really good for me. So now, my husband now, what's practical about him that I really love is like the basics that I really need in a partner. That's what a practical choice means. You know, I still am hot for them. I love them. You know what I mean? And they're the one for me, no doubt. But the practical choices that I made when I was, you know, choosing him were things that complemented me and my life, the things that I was missing that I needed, right? Yes, I can fix a sink myself, or yes, I could teach myself how to fix a car, or I can blah, blah, blah. But I realized I'm really good at, you know, these things. And I was like, it'd be really awesome if I had someone who could, like, you know, fix things around the house or fix my car if it breaks down, or, you know what I mean? And it could be a man or a woman. It's not, he just happens to be a man, but you know what I mean? But that's what I wanted and needed. I wanted somebody who was a perfect partner for me. So when they're saying practical, they're meaning like that, right? And being discerning is like for me, it was the spiritual part. I needed to make sure that we are on the same page spiritually. I can't be in a relationship with somebody who doesn't believe what I don't believe in. I can't be in a relationship with somebody who thinks what I do is woo-woo or bullshit. I have to be in a relationship with someone who is like, right on, that's fucking awesome that you talk to, you know, energies from all over the universe. You know what I mean? Like, that's cool that you're a medium, you know, not like you're a freaky weirdo. So, you know, that's what they're saying about that, because that's what brings you security in life and love, is like having the foundation in a relationship that's like good for you. And then the next one with the lovebirds, when they're saying, you know, passionate declarations can lead to love, then it's like, then once you find that person, then you seek them out, right? Like the lovebirds, like you go into your little love world, and, you know, that's why they call it the honeymoon stage and all that, right? Then it says, lend a helping hand and never forget that spring will return. So when you are in a relationship, a real, true, bona fide relationship, you have to be able to help each other and support each other. In this instant, it's the mama bird feeding the baby bird, right? Well, we need to be able to feed and nourish ourselves. We need to be our own, like, savior, our own, you know, our own knight, so to speak. But at the same time, it sure is nice to have somebody who will take care of you when you're not feeling good, when you're feeling weak like a baby bird. You know, someone who's, that makes a big difference, you know? If you have somebody in your life who doesn't care or doesn't pay attention to you, or, you know, like, I just feel this soft, loving energy from you guys, and you deserve better. Then the next one with the parenthood and caring for family brings much joy. Well, you know what? Maybe you do want to have children, and, you know, think about that. This is going to be, you know, it doesn't matter if you're a same-sex couple. It's like, you know, people do all different, you know, forms of having children. There are so many different ways to have children now. And, you know, it is part of, if that's part of your soul journey, it will happen. You know, don't worry about how it's going to happen, where it's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. Don't worry about, oh, my, you know, I'm getting too old, or, you know, if you're meant to be a parent, you are meant to be a parent, and it will happen. Not only that, maybe you just want to be a parent to furry, you know, animals or birds or whatever it is. You know, this is a birds reading, right? Messages from the bird spirit medicine. So keep that in mind as well. You know, someone who likes animals, someone who, if you're that person and you're like, oh dude, I've got like 7 cats and like 6 dogs, and you take good care of them and everything's happy, and you have a big house and land and property to do that, more power to you. That's wonderful. If you want to run a foster care or start, you know, whatever, it's like, just make sure that that person that you want to be in a relationship is on the same page, because if they're not, it will come out. That's why we got divorced, because we started to realize we just were going in different directions. We didn't want the same things, my first marriage. And that's why they're remarried to the person they're supposed to be with, and I'm remarried to the person I'm supposed to be with. But I wouldn't trade those moments for anything. That relationship taught me so much. I still love him so much. He is the most wonderful person. He just wasn't my romantic person, you know? And then the last one is uncover the deity within. They're resplendent. I mean, what a great word. And look at them. And look at how different they are too. Seriously, like, look at how absolutely different these birds are. But yet, they're the same. Do you see that? See, because one has their wings up, so they look different. But when they're sedentary, it's like, but that's the same bird. Oh, look at the flame by the bird, right? And you need to be able to fly. If you're just sitting sedentary in a relationship, and you need to fly, and you have visions of yourself like being free, and, you know, then maybe this isn't the right relationship for you. I feel like there's so many messages in here for so many different people. So seriously, use your own intuition on this one. Maybe that's why, I don't know if that's going to be my new thing for you guys, is the Wayward Magicians, or if it's just this particular first quarter moon. I don't know. You know, I just go with the flow, but there's a lot of beautiful energy here for you guys. And I love you so much. Thank you so much. And also, if you didn't watch any other piles, or you didn't watch the beginning, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you to those of you who have contributed to this channel and to the work that I do here. It means more than you know. All of my spirit work is on a donation basis, so I'm grateful. I mean, every little bit helps, you know. It's like, I've had people like, oh, I was going to send you money, but I only had like $5. I'm like, you can send $5, because $5 pays for food for my cat. You know what I mean? My familiar, baba. You know, every little bit helps. And if you are going to, this is a friendly reminder from Spirit, if you are going to contribute through my PayPal account, all my information is in the description box below. I have Venmo as well, but the PayPal, make sure that you click friend or gift, because this is an energy exchange between friends, and it is a gift. I'm not a service, I'm not a company, I'm not incorporated. I don't make enough for that. At least now anyway. So, so yeah, please send it through that way, and then they won't take any fees out on my end. Thank you so much, you guys. I really hope these messages helped you. In this first quarter moon, I feel like it's all about like taking action. And there are so many different messages in here. Utilize whatever it was to take action in the direction that you need to go, but it is time to take some action. So thank you so much for being here. I love you guys so much. All my information is in the description box below, and I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Aho.